on the clock. And this meeting is being held in accordance with the governor's executive order N2920, which allows a local legislative body to hold public meetings via teleconferencing and to make public meetings accessible telephonically or otherwise electronically to all members of the public seeking to observe and to address the local legislative body. The teleconference phone number is 1301-715-8592. The ID is 875-4548-8582. The password is 93662. When on the phone, if you wish to address council during the public comment portion of the agenda, press *9 to raise hand, and we will select you from the meeting queue. Press *6 to unmute and mute yourself. Tonight's invocation will be led by Pastor Franco Atkinson of the Selma First Southern Baptist Church.
Thank you. Go ahead and pray. Father God, we come before you right now, thanking you for this day that you've given us and for the people who give up their time and volunteer and just be part of this city council and the people that are involved to make our city better. Father God, we pray that you will guide us through this meeting. And I pray that whatever is done to better for the betterment of the community. And may your guidance be with us. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Everybody rise and please face the flag. Ready, salute. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Guerra.
Here.
Councilmember Mendoza-Navarro.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho.
Here.
Mayor Robertson.
Here. Potential conflicts of interest. Any council member has a potential conflict of interest may now identify the item and recuse themselves from discussing and voting on the matter. Oral communications. At this time, any member of the public may address the city council on any issue within its jurisdiction, but not on the agenda. No item will be discussed. Items of interest will be referred to the city manager for further review. Speakers are asked to limit their remarks to 3 minutes. City Clerk, do we have anyone who would like to speak during oral communications tonight?
Mayor, we do not have anyone on the line, nor have we received any emails.
Thank you. Before we move on to special presentations, I would like to welcome Mary Lerner from Lozano Smith. Mary is our new city attorney. I'd like to say welcome to you.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Council.
Thank you. With that, we'll move on to our first special presentation, which is a presentation on city planning project updates. I believe Kira Noguera is going to be leading us with that tonight.
Thank you, Mayor, Council members. This evening, I do have a few updates on the projects that we are processing in the Community Development Department. The first update I have for you is in regards to a lot line adjustment 18-0040. This project split one lot into two and is now proceeding with single family residential and an ADU on each unit. Building plans were returned with comments on 3/17. So in this case, the applicant will be revising the plans to meet those comments and then they can move forward with their building permit. The next update is for a CUP and site plan review for a new service station the expansion of an existing service station on Van Horn. Engineering is currently reviewing their revised plans. They turned in revised plans on 3/1 and the city staff is now reviewing them. The next project is for a site plan review at Highland and Rose for a new body shop. The note here says that the encroachment permit pre-submittal meeting was being coordinated with Caltrans, but since publishing this spreadsheet, Caltrans has decided that a pre-submittal meeting is not necessary and the applicant will be proceeding with the application soon.
Excuse me, Kira, what's SRR stand for?
I'm sorry, where is that?
It's on, it's halfway up It's the project on 2407 West Nebraska Avenue. It's a lot line adjustment. Will allow for an additional dwelling unit and an SRR. What's an SRR?
That should be a single family. That should be an F.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for that. So SFR would be single family residential.
Okay.
The next update is for the site plan review for the 2nd Street service station. Engineering is currently reviewing the resubmittal of plans. And the next update is for site plan review 19-0026 for Super Drive-In. Recent communication happened on May 4th, and the applicant has indicated that they are making progress. A quick recap, their biggest hindrance at this point has been the encroachment permit from Caltrans. So they have a better understanding of that and are moving forward.
Fernando, I have a quick question. Isn't this the one that you're working with and said it was just a misunderstanding?
That's
And he was-
correct.
Was he,
Since our last planning presentation, we have been in contact with the contractor who was hired by the owner of the Super Drive-In, and they're coordinating with Caltrans right now on the encroachment permit. So they're moving forward, it sounds like. We don't have a timeline on the start of construction, but the encroachment permit takes a while.
Thank you. So the next update we have is for an annexation pre-zone general plan amendment subdivision and a subdivision map. This is located at the southwest corner of Nebraska and Highland. There are 2 separate applicants in this case moving forward. So Mr. Josan is in need of CEQA review, so that's his next step. And Mr. Hinesley is revising his map to be more consistent with the general plan. So that will be his next step. For the Farney Hampton Inn, the site improvement plans are currently being developed. For Dutch Brothers, we were able to issue conditions of approval on March 9th. We held a meeting with the applicant and property owners on April 13th to discuss the engineering conditions of approval, and the plans are being revised as such. So that one, should be moving forward soon. The next project we have is for an annexation pre-zone and subdivision map. This is submitted by Lennar in the Amberwood specific plan. The application has been deemed complete and LAFCO has accepted the proposed annexation boundary. So city staff will be routing the application for review. We have tentatively scheduled this application to be heard in the May Planning Commission hearing. And then if a recommendation is obtained during that hearing, then we would move to bring it to City Council in June.
When
We
would
have
the,
another.
Kara,
sorry,
when
go
would the sewer line need to be installed for that?
The exact timing, I'm not sure of. Once they have their approvals, they can move forward on their sewer line installation. I do know that the project applicant is coordinating with the larger owner of Amberwood to make sure that those plans, when the sewer arrives, they're ready to tie into it.
Okay, thank you.
The next project we have is the annexation pre-zone and subdivision map as well. This one is located south of the city on McCall. City staff provided a revised letter to the applicant on April 8th. I since met with the applicant last week on the 16th, that was Friday, and they are clear on what the outstanding items are, and we will hopefully receive a revised application from them this week. And our last active project that we just received last week is a minor site plan review for Walmart. They have a small proposal to expand due to their drive up and online pickup orders. And this application is currently under review by city staff. For our larger ongoing projects, the only update I have is for the Vineyard Estates Phase 3. And that update is that the infrastructure is currently under construction. Oh, I'm sorry, I have one final update. The Valley View Estates Phase 3, the final map will be recorded and the public improvements have been approved to move forward. And that's all I have on these projects.
Great, thank you. Do council have any questions or comments for Kira tonight?
Yes, I just have a couple questions. I know it wasn't things that you reviewed, but for the Selma crossing, what is the location on that? Is that yeah, the location for the Selma crossing and then the location for the Selma Grove, just so that I have it on here.
Selma Crossing is east of the city. I'm going to say, I'm not sure of the exact cross streets. I'm going to say north of Mountain View.
Mountain View 99.
Okay.
Mountain View 99. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
they
you,
have
Isaac.
Summer Crossing consists of 3 of those 4 corners. So
Okay.
every corner except for the swap meet.
Okay. And then the Selma Grove, that's right there by Rockwell Pond.
Yes, that's located north of Floral, west of current city limits, sort of, I guess, technically west of the Walmart parking lot. It did include the existing Farney Toyota dealership and Hampton Inn, but those have already been developed. So the undeveloped portion is west of there.
Okay. I just wanted to just note it because it was blank.
I'll be sure to get that filled in.
Oh, and then the one for the Vineyard Estates. Sorry, there's no location there.
Isaac, do you have a location of Vineyard Estates Phase 3? Or Fernando?
It's Valley View Street. It's just south of that. So there's 3 phases. They're on the final one. So as you go south from Valley View, you're in that neighborhood.
Okay.
Saginaw basically.
Yeah, Saginaw is going to be the southerly boundary of it.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Does council have any additional questions or comments for Kira tonight? Thank you for your report.
Thank you.
With that, we'll move on to our next presentation, which is on the updated city website. Manager?
Council, Tracy Tosta is with us tonight, and she has been working very hard on this new launch. So I'll let her show you the new website.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. City Council and Councilman staff, really excited to have this done. I cannot tell you, I can barely get my words out. I'm so excited. What you see here is our main page. We have a couple of pop-up bars here, one notifying that this is a new website, and kind of bear with us because we have some edits that still need to be done. A couple of items are still not functioning, but we are working with our contractor to remedy those situations. The other alert we have here, I've got it updated for COVID-19 just so we can maintain what tier we are currently in. So the orange tier should be happening tomorrow, if not Wednesday. So I'm a little premature on that, but it was a hopeful edit. And here you can see these rotating images and rotating little pockets here of crucial information. We love that our city council meetings and agendas are right front and center, and also our art center. And also on here is bid opportunities. We can share this webpage with other social media outlets, and this is a resource for various disabilities or reading abilities. As you can see, there's dyslexia-friendly settings. So this is a really comprehensive website, and we love that it is able to serve a brighter population. Here we have the news and events section. As you can see, we've updated recently with our vaccine information, our community cleanup week that's this week, and giving a shout out to Bear Bucks here on our main page. We also have a calendar feature, and let me just bring you into the calendar view real quick. And we have multiple calendars. They're color coded. So what you see here, if you select any of these calendars, it will show you whatever's in that category. We've got various community events, even one from Kerman added on here. We've got our business opening coming up, I believe this weekend. So definitely a source to check out. If you have any events you'd like me to add, feel free to send them over to me at the city. Council meetings are on here. Business events are going to be added to this as I get them. And Liz has added a recreations page so we can start seeing when all of the sports and various activities pop up. I'm going to take us back to the home page and complete scrolling down here. So there's a few highlight buttons that take you to various parts of the website. We have a main video here that I'm not going to play for you right now. It's one you've probably seen. As we get updated promotional videos, we will add those here. There's also a link to our Develop Selma YouTube that has various grant applications, and our Cover Up to Open Up campaign is there. And then also visit Fresno County to help with the tourist attraction to the Central Valley. If anyone's interested in receiving updates of when our council agendas are posted, they can come to this e-notify section, enter their email address, and sign up for emails or text messages. So you can add your telephone number here, and you can receive text messages for when various pages update. Right now, we just have an alert for the council meetings and agendas, but we may add that to our Art Center page or maybe some of our recreation event pages, so that when something new comes up in Selma, you get it notified immediately. We have all of our wonderful department pages. I'm going to show you just one of them here. We've got our fire department, really great looking team up here. Various headline images will rotate through, and we can update these so each department looks a little bit different. We've got our main contact here, and we have administration. They all look wonderful in their portraits, and quick and easy contact information. We love all of this being so clean and easy to navigate now. So permits are here, and we have one central location for most forms. I do want to show you that. If you're looking for anything official with the city under resources and forms, you're going to find everything you need. We've got building forms, we've got planning forms. You want to do a yard sale, dog license, everything's in one nice location. And a lot of the pages will link you back to here to access the information that you need. Under community, we have our Bear Bucks gift cards. We've got our dog license. These are some of the most frequently requested items. So they are here in one easy location. For businesses, we have a local jobs that I'm going to be adding to. If any positions come up, we'll be doing a listing there. I'll just leave them up for about 1 month unless a business requests them longer. We've got our licenses. We've got Chamber of Commerce, direct link to their website. And under government, we have all of our city council, our agendas and meetings. City manager has her own page, and we've got our great link to our municipal code if you need to look up anything there. That's the quick and dirty tour. I hope you enjoy the new website. If you find anything wrong with it, you think of something you want added, please feel free to reach out to me. And if you want it translated into any language, have your pick. We know that Google Translate does not always do the best of jobs, so if there are some translations in Spanish that could be improved, please let us know. We can make some edits to the translations in our page. And that's it. Do we have any questions, any comments?
Does council have any questions or comments for Tracy tonight on the new website?
I have one.
It looks like an improvement, Tracy. The navigation is so awesome. It seems really easy to go through. So kudos to you guys and the team that put that together. Really nice.
Thank you.
I also has a question for Tracy. So like our nonprofit organization, if we have some upcoming event, just go ahead and send it to you. Would that be good?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I've got a
And-
question.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry about that. No, go ahead, Councilmember.
I was just going to ask about the little on the where you showed us for the dyslexia. Does it have the audio as well? Are you able to have audio for it to read it to
does.
you?
I believe so. I wasn't sure about that part. I think it's under tooltips. I haven't actually clicked through and used all of these, but I will double check that they're active. I don't have the sound on my desktop right now. I don't want to interfere with the meeting, but I believe it's under tooltips to have that reading option.
Okay, perfect. It looks great. It's, you know, like you said, it was easy to navigate, so it looks good. Good job.
Thank you.
It really does look good. A lot more user friendly. Couple questions. One is, where can citizens find their districts on this website, Tracy? The district they live in?
Great question. I believe it's under elections here, and we should have our district map here. This is the most recent one. And
Is there an interactive map?
it's not interactive. There is a grant that we've applied for that may give us that option in the future. Right now, it is just a PDF of the outline of the districts.
Can people type in their address and see where they live? Or see what district they're in?
Not yet. If the grant doesn't go through, that's an easy potential add to like a Google map that we could create and link here.
Okay. Last question for Director Santillan. I know there are other cities like Fresno where you can actually put in a concern about the city, about a location where they see, you know, items that are being dumped there, or a dumping ground, or, you know, a problem with code enforcement. Does this website have that, or will it have that with a, you know, a direct contact like that?
I believe that is a module that is included with this website for electronic complaint submittals and things like that. It's also going to be a feature that we roll out with our online permitting system. So options for that feedback.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else have any other input tonight on the new website? Okay, thank you, Tracy. Much
You're
improved.
welcome.
Looks really
Thank
good.
you so much.
Thank you.
If I may, I do apologize, Mayor, for interrupting. If I may, if I can just ask Tracy to share her screen one more time. She was almost there. If when you're on the elections page, there is a link that states, and here is Tracy was showing you here on the public service request area, that is where you would go in and notify us of an issue, right under resources, under public service request. The other question that you had, Mayor, was on election. Tracy, if you would just scroll down, there is a location right there where it asks in which district do you live in. If you can just scroll right up, right before you hit the map, there is a link that says interactive district map, and that map was presented to us by NDC, which is the demographer that we used. So you would just enter your address there, and it would provide you with the information that would let a citizen know what district they are in. So it'll scroll you, it'll zoom in, but if you zoom out, it'll show you what district you are in.
That's good information. Thank you, City Clerk. And with that, we'll move on to the consent calendar. All items listed under the consent calendar category are considered routine. The complete consent calendar may be approved by one motion roll call vote. For purposes of discussion, any council member may have an item removed from the consent calendar and placed back on the regular agenda. The council will then vote on the remainder of the consent calendar for approval. Does anyone have any items they would like to take off tonight on the consent calendar?
Mayor Robertson, again, if I may.
Yes.
Before I ask council to do that, I'd like to just point out that on the consent calendar, under the minutes, on page 6, item 6, there is a misspelled word. And on page 15, Pastor Luis Quintana's name was spelled incorrectly. I spoke with legal, and according to our legal counsel learner, she stated that there was no need for council to pull those items. We can just note that those items will be corrected on the minutes, and council can approve them.
Okay, noted for the record, City Clerk, thank you. And thank you for getting all these minutes done. It had to take you more than a few minutes to do these. Really appreciate it. Okay, does anyone want to take up any items off of the consent calendar tonight?
Taking up in.
Anyone else? Okay, with that, is there a motion to approve items 1A through 1M?
Motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Can you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Guerra,
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza Navarro,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Okay, item N.
Page 49, just one. Check number 77073 for Fresno County Clerk. 20.
That's for the election process with the county. And a big portion of that was actually billed to Mr. Nelson for his portion of the casino.
How much of that would have been billed to Mr. Nelson?
I'll have to go back and check my records and look that up. When we do my department report, I'll look it up.
Okay, thank you.
Get that to you.
I have a couple. The very first one at the top of the page, Christopher Abbey, repair of East Side Bay Door Station 1. Did something happen to the door?
Yes, unfortunately, I believe it was one of the springs that broke
Oh, okay.
on one of the downtown station, one of the big engine bay doors.
That's a big thing when a spring breaks on a
It
door
was,
of
yeah.
that size. Okay, and then quarter of the way down the page, 77059, a very worthy cause, the canine maintenance and the training for PD for the canines, but it's 14,000. I usually don't see it this high. Is it just they didn't get their bills in for a while, or why is it so high this month?
I'll have to look into that one too. I agree. That one is a little bit higher.
Could just be a typo.
I can double check on that one too and get you your answer.
Okay,
My
thanks.
department report.
Page 51, last one. 77176 Precision Emprise sidewalk repairs downtown, 7415. Refresh my memory. Did we get a grant for that, or was that out of the general fund or CDBG?
I'm sorry, which check number again?
Sorry, check number 77176, page 51 for 7,415.
That one is not a grant. That's actually just, it was working in it at that area, but it was away from that project zone.
So it's not block grant money. This was just a specific spot repair.
Correct.
From when like trucks make a U-turn like they did today right in front of our building and go over the curb, and enough trucks do that and they take that curb down, they crack it. So I can definitely see things like that happening, being needed. Okay, thank you for that. Is there a motion to approve the check register tonight, item N? I'll second that. We call the roll, please, City Clerk?
Councilmember Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson,
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza Navarro,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho.
Yes.
That will move on to our first item of regular business tonight, the consideration of a resolution awarding the zoning ordinance update project contract to Rincon Consultants, Inc. Director Santillan.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. This item that we present to you tonight is with regard to the zoning ordinance update project that we are undertaking. As you might recall, the city was awarded $135,000 in grant funds from SB2, in addition to other smaller grant fund amounts. This project was selected as a project by the city because over the years since 1961, when our ordinance was first adopted, there have been numerous laws, specifically with regard to housing, that have been passed by the state legislature that we've sort of ran out of compliance of, and we need to make comprehensive changes to our zoning ordinance to be able to come back into compliance on some of those. We have addressed some of them sort of as we go, but you know, we are experiencing a transition in terms of different types of housing, different types of uses for different properties, not just here in Selma, but pretty much every community is experiencing. So we decided to make this a top priority project. And back in January, an RFP was issued, request for proposals, soliciting proposals from firms for this project, which is not a small undertaking. It's a rather important and lengthy undertaking. We anticipate it's going to take about 12 to 18 months to complete. We have until the end of 2023 to complete the project. So as a result of the RFP, we received 3 proposals from Rincon Consultants, QK Inc., and Intrawest Consulting Group, all very well-known planning firms, planning consultants. We implemented a evaluation process that included not just the evaluation of the written proposals, but also a panel interview, which was made up of myself, Assistant City Manager Moreno, and an external community development director from a neighboring city to evaluate the applicants. And we were very impressed with the applicants, and they were all very professional, highly experienced. As a result of those interviews and the written proposals, staff is recommending Rincon Consultants, who has partnered with another planning firm called Mintier Harnish. The contract would be with Rincon Consultants, but Mintier Harnish, who has extensive experience with updating zoning ordinances, would be doing a lot of the work. We are, one of the requests in the request for proposals was to provide pricing for optional tasks. And staff decided to opt for 3 of the tasks that were presented as optional. One of them is web-based zoning code. And this is important because as you saw from our website, interactive maps and interactive information online is extremely useful, and is it's sort of the way that we're going in terms of the development process here at the city. With we just submitted a grant for a GIS system, geographic information system, that's going to allow us to present not just zoning information, but infrastructure information if we do get that grant, and lots of other information like election districts and things, and zoning designations. So that's going to be, we're hoping that that'll be part of the project. And then we also opted to go with architectural review guidelines. That's something that's really important as the city continues to grow, that we're able to set standards and expectations about what the buildings in town are going to look like. And this process is going to help us sort of define what those guidelines are going to be, what we're going to require, what we're going to recommend for individual projects. And then the other optional task, which was not part of the actual proposal, but was actually a project that we're currently working on with the Fresno COG. But we needed funding to be able to finish the project, which is the downtown overlay zone. So the overlay zone is going to be basically additional regulations that are overlaid on top of what is existing for the downtown commercial zone. Which will set additional standards for things like housing and other types of uses that are not currently addressed as part of the downtown zoning code. So that's an additional $7,000, which we were informed informally that $7,000 is going to be covered by a grant from the Fresno COG. But it is included with this total project budget because it will be part of this project. So that brings our entire requested total budget to $203,326. And as I said previously, we are using SB2 funds, but we are also using a small amount, about $25,000 of LEAP grant funds, which is very similar to SB2, and then the previously mentioned $7,000 from the Fresno COG. So at this time, staff is recommending that the council authorize the city manager to enter into an agreement with Rincon Consultants for the zoning ordinance project.
Thank you for your report. City Manager, do you have anything to add? Thank you. Does council have any questions for Director Santillan at this point?
I have a quick question.
Sure.
For the downtown overlay zone,
Oh, I can't hear. I can't hear Councilmember Guerra.
Like to repeat the question, or did you want me to answer?
can you hear me?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, my question was, for the downtown overlay zone, did they give you anything, any drafts, anything they did?
Well, no. So they do have a draft prepared. This is something I spoke to Rincon about. They have a draft prepared. The additional $7,000 is going to take us to the adoption and sort of the review of the draft and some of those final items. But we haven't seen the final draft yet, or the administrative draft, I should say. But that is something that they have prepared.
Council, any additional questions?
Yes. So I know you mentioned about so the expectations of what buildings are going to look like. Is that just for the downtown? Is that overall? What does that entail for what the expectations are going to be? And then how do we determine what those expectations are going to be?
That's a great question, Councilmember Mendoza Navarro. With the architectural guidelines, those are going to apply citywide, but they'll vary depending on the buildings, the zones, the different types of projects that are being developed. The entire zoning ordinance update project is going to be community oriented. We're going to seek a lot of feedback from the community. And that was one of the reasons we decided to go with Rincon, because they had the strongest community outreach element as part of their proposal. But the architectural review guidelines specifically will also include some feedback into sort of what the community wants to see in terms of those design standards.
Okay, thank you.
No, there's a 30% price differential here, with Rincon being at the very top end of the bids. At the same time, that caught my attention. But then when I read through it a couple of times, I also started thinking about Rincon and all the proven track record that they've had for the city, along with helping us to get into compliance with our RENA numbers that we had to be in compliance with the state with our housing element. At the same time, they've also started on that overlay district as well. I know they called me as a business owner, and I did a 30-minute survey with them about downtown, and they were very thorough. They're very thorough, very professional in their questions. And we were one of many businesses that answered the questions about the downtown, and I respected their thoroughness on that. In terms of, so I can see why you would seek that continuity with Rincon and their familiarity with other downtown projects and other projects in general regarding the city. Regarding the architectural review guidelines, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I'm understanding this is just a template. This is just going to be a capacity to have architectural review guidelines. This software is not going to contain those guidelines. That will be something that Rincon reaches out to the community for and gets the input from the city administration and is reviewed by the city council and potentially the planning commission as well. Is that correct? So there are no guidelines yet. This is just gives the city the capacity to put those guidelines in.
That's correct. Yeah, the process of developing the guidelines, and I should clarify too, this is a conversation we had with Rincon. You know, there's a difference between guidelines and standards, and we're going to be able to decide what is going to be a standard, a minimum required standard in terms of design, and what we're going to establish as a guideline to help people achieve a desired aesthetic and design product. So that's all going to be developed as part of this process. We don't have anything right now that we typically go off of. So this will give us a good starting point to develop.
Will it also include some sort of guidelines for folks who buy buildings and then just leave them in a dilapidated state like we have right now downtown, very visibly on 2nd Street? Is there going to be something there that will allow us to flag those types of locations as well in the software?
So yeah, I think the code, we can add whatever we'd like as a community. Whatever issues have come up since we last adopted our zoning ordinance, I think we can address all of those issues through this update. So yeah, we'll have that option as well.
City Clerk, do we have anyone on the line wishing to comment on this topic?
Just real quick, I have one additional question.
Sure.
If that's okay. A follow-up to your question, actually. Director Santian, so I know Mayor asked about the downtown area, but that would also be for like the old Save Mart shopping center and all the other shopping centers that we have around. That would also include those?
Yeah, so the zoning ordinance would be more broad in terms, we're not looking at specific parcels as part of this project. We're looking more at, the city as a whole and what areas need to be addressed with regulation.
Okay.
We're not necessarily looking at specific buildings and parcels to single out with this code. Our current code doesn't do that, but there are things that we can put in the code that would address things that we're seeing with buildings that we're aware of right now, but we wouldn't be singling out or targeting specific buildings or parcels.
Okay, thank you.
Council have any additional questions? With that, City Clerk, do we have anyone on the line who would like to weigh in on this topic?
As a reminder to the 3 callers that we have on the line, if you wish to address council on this matter, please use *9 to raise your hand and we will select you from the meeting queue. Mayor Robertson, we have no callers wishing to speak at this time.
All right, thank you, City Clerk. So with that, we'll bring it back to council. Is there a motion tonight to award the zoning ordinance update contract to Rincon Consultants and authorize the city manager to execute an agreement with Rincon Consultants, including A, B, and C, the 3 different options?
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho,
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza Navarro,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Next item is a council request to discuss workforce development for local Selma businesses. Report, please.
Good evening. This is just a verbal report per the request of Councilmember Guerra regarding the workforce development in the city of Selma and how we can partner and support our local businesses. So I'll turn that over to Councilmember Guerra if you'd like to make the initial comments on this request.
Okay, thank you, Tracy. Last Friday, we met with, the mayor and I met with a business leadership advisory council. There are business owners or businesses here in City of Selma. And we talked quite intense, we talked about issues that are going on in Selma, and we talked about their issues that they're having. Of course, due to COVID, they've lost employees. So their main concern is what can we do as the city to help them advertise for employment? they need people to work for them. So we talked about, can we help them maybe with the workshop or doing a job fair downtown, like other cities do. I know, Fresno does it. City of Reedley has done job fairs. So I thought maybe we could do a job fair for these businesses that are looking for employers or employees, I should say. I also have a Pride staff that's in our building that also can help with individuals, placing them with jobs. So people are really coming together that want to do this. So I talked to Tracy, and Tracy, I'll let you take it from here, Tracy.
Sure. So we haven't historically participated a lot in workforce development. It's just not typically a city function. It's certainly an aspect of it could fall under economic development, in that we have several partners in the county and locally that we could work with to suggest or promote Selma as being a location for a job fair to help our businesses here. There's organizations like the EDC, the Fresno Economic Development Corporation, the Workforce Development Board and their business center. Locally, we have Proteus and the Department of Social Services that are all looking to place various clients in jobs, and they do serve the population of Selma. So it is often with workforce development, the connection between the potential workers and the companies that are hiring. A lot of times individuals just aren't getting that information about where they can apply, if they're qualified, what the protocols are for that. So job fairs are definitely helpful in being able to give face time for those who may be stronger in person than online. For some positions, online applications are better, and sometimes it's better to be in person. So there's a lot of pros and cons to weigh. As far as workshops, there are a lot of workshops available out there through those organizations that I've mentioned, and others, to help companies build the capacity to bring back those employees and to build the capacity to bring on new positions. There's also programs that will reimburse the businesses through the EDC. Particularly, they have the NEO program, the New Employment Opportunities Program, which places folks who are in CalWorks with eligible companies that are reimbursed the wages for those employees for the first 3 months. They get 100% of the wages back. It's a great program. It's definitely one that's probably picking up a bit now, since we have a lot more folks on government aid, and CalWorks specifically is for families with children in the home. So if that is a common population here in Selma, then maybe that partnership is something to look at to offer that service more to our businesses and make that connection there. The city website, thankfully, that now that's up and running. We did have requests from businesses directly to me that wanted support in getting their job positions sent out there. So not only including them in the business email that goes out biweekly, but also that new page that I'm setting up where they can send in job postings and we can have that local resource. There may be a repository that's a little bit better out there, but we can definitely look at these partners and see how we can best utilize their resources and to support something like a job fair. Any other comments from council on that?
Tracy, also, I did speak to the president for the FFA, Tanya Hinton, and she also mentioned, because I know we did this in the past year with the schools, invited us to come out and help set up booths so that we can, show them how to interview, how to fill out an application. She said with the seniors that are graduating, which is a great idea to get to them, because they're going to need jobs. Some of them will need a full-time job or just a part-time job. And we can kind of get some networking there with the school to see if some of these kids want to come out and apply for these jobs. Because some of these employers said they'll do interviews right on the spot, because that's pretty how desperate they need these employees. So maybe we can kind of network with the school as well.
And this was a cross-section of business leaders that Sarah and I met with across all lines in Selma, different types of industries. And to a person, they said that that is their number one problem, that they just can't find people to work right now. And another problem was, what we heard was, we're advertising, we're putting signs out, and we're not getting Selma people. We're getting people from other cities. So, it'd be nice to really get these offers out to Selma folks who need the work, who may not otherwise see that. And we haven't done a job fair in a while. We're in, the orange zone now. So maybe that would lend itself to something, or something outdoors might be allowed, in one of our parks like Lincoln Park, where some of the employers, specifically from Selma and from around, maybe in conjunction with the EDC, we could have something like that. And I'm sure there would be a number of businesses from Selma who would sign up for that to interview people, because from what they said at this meeting, they're definitely looking to staff up and just drive around town. Look at all the help wanted signs you see, and now hiring. Council have any additional comments?
I think I have a question, and it's more, what was the name of that business leadership council, or what was that agency that you guys talked to?
So it's a business advisory council of people that I've known and that I contacted to talk about various business issues, business leaders in Selma who have shown that they're active in Selma and they are economically minded. So this is a informal group of business owners in Selma.
Okay, so it's not like an actual like council of like a list of business owners or anything, or is it? You said it was informal, so it's not a formed.
So this is an informal group of business owners who come from different industries in Selma.
And so these groups get together, or you guys went individually to each of the groups? I mean, each of the businesses. I'm just trying to understand like how all these came together. Like, do they meet somewhere?
This is an informal meeting.
No, I get it. Yeah, I get the informal, but what I'm saying is, how do they meet? Like, how do they all get together? They just say, let's go have coffee, all these, or I'm just trying to figure out how, like, if I wanted to go talk to this group, how do I go about doing that?
I think the idea is that you draw on your contacts, council member, like I did, and you discuss with these business people that like I have, what's going on in Selma, to get kind of a non-political, unbiased perspective on what's happening. So we met, the first time we met on Stillman, next to Les Schwab's. Because of COVID, we did not meet inside. We met outside and talked about the various issues in Selma, including the widening of Stillman, Rockwell Pond, employment. And it was very eye-opening to have a non-political discussion with the people who are actually doing business in Selma and who have employees and who see these issues on the front lines. Very refreshing and very, I think, impactful to get the perspective. And I would encourage every council member to reach out to business people and to get their perspective, and to social organizations to get the idea and to get what's happening for input. I think it's really important to represent those views when we come to council.
And so what does the Selma Chamber of Commerce, do they have has anybody reached out to them to see, those local businesses that are part of the chamber, to what are their needs? Do you have that
I
information?
could say something about that. Chamber of Commerce, if anybody's emails a job or description, and that Bob does send it out. So basically now with the City of Selma website, he should, somehow or another should be connecting with them for the jobs too. Because once he knows it, it does go out because it comes in our email form. Okay.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody actually said anything derogatory about the chamber. I just, that's an avenue of getting news out. But I think people were, these business owners that Sarah and I met with, were talking about, other ways, because what's been going on so far, the advertising just hasn't worked. So they're looking for alternative ways, other ways to be effective and to find people to work in their businesses. And one of those things that, we haven't done is a job fair, which might be helpful in the future.
Well, like with the times the way it is now, anything, all ways are good. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Whatever works.
Yes. Yes.
They were just saying what we've done, their traditional avenues just haven't worked so far. And they're really looking to find employees, especially employees from Selma, because, they have the best interests of Selma at heart too.
Yeah.
City Clerk, do we have anybody on the line who would like to have an input on this discussion?
To the 3 callers that we have on the line, as a reminder, please use *9 to raise your hand and we will select you from the meeting queue. At this point, there are no callers wishing to speak at this time.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll bring this back. So this is a discussion item at this point. Does council wish to give direction to staff to follow up on ways of attracting employees to Selma businesses in the future, such as a job fair or other means that might be effective in helping the employment, helping to get folks to work in our city?
I would like to motion if we could move forward. I know Tracy had some great ideas in regards to possibly doing a job fair like in May, especially because, the seniors will be graduating and be out of school in June, and that would really help these businesses. So I think we should move forward with the job fair.
Councilmember Mendoza Navarro?
I do want to get, more folks employed, especially because, yeah, you're right. I drive around Selma and I see a lot of, help wanted signs. And I think with us putting it on the website, I think it's going to be, something very beneficial. What are we in, like 2 weeks out of May? I'm still a little bit, as far as the social distancing, I know we're going into the orange. I know that they need help. I want to get our city back up and running. Yeah, we can look at, possibly having some type of a job fair.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem Cho?
I would agree with that. I think we would start like finding the businesses that need people. I guess that's the only way, those are the ones that's going to be looking for the employees anyway. So that's key thing, I think, is finding the businesses that do need the employees at this point. So, so you get a few of those together, then you will be your job fair.
Great. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, members of council. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just had one more thing, and just I think if we, I think the priority would be, to get those, like Tracy mentioned, on the website, get those businesses that are looking and get their information in the website, as soon as possible, because it is going to take time to get this job fair planned and everything. So I think that would be the immediate, if we're wanting to help them, set that as a priority.
Manager, did you have any?
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. I just wanted to again emphasize what Tracy had shared about finding partners that will help us with this. It is a big endeavor to put together a job fair, very worthwhile one. And I know that we're going to have some timing constraints with different things that we all have going on and staff have on their plates. So finding partners to work with would definitely be one of our top priorities and bring in moving forward with this direction that you.
Well, like I've got several
us.
business owners that I've been talking with who were graciously volunteered to get together in that meeting that council member Guerra and I attended, and I'm sure our other council members too know many business owners as well who are looking for this. So I know that I can supply you with names and council.
And not only employers, but organizers.
Organizations.
Yeah, like as Tracy mentioned, the Workforce Development Center, or the
Proteus.
EDC, Proteus that have that side of the house as well that can help organize that. Tracy, did you have anything more on that to add, given all the things that are coming up in the next few months?
Just that May might be a bit of a tight timeline. I know we want to catch the outgoing seniors, but I do think prioritizing the website and collecting the businesses that are interested definitely makes sense as a top priority, and then exploring with our partner agencies. Several of them are not quite back at full capacity and the full range of their activities based on the COVID restrictions. We're still under limited for gatherings. So if we were to do an indoor event, that has a big effect. If it's outdoor at a park, weather constraints, and again, social distancing are all going to be a little bit added complexity to this. So definitely starting to explore, but I don't know if May is a reasonable timeline.
Great. So this is the beginning phase of doing exactly that. There are always reasons not to do things, as we're all busy and we got budget coming up and so many things coming up with the economy opening up again. But I can definitely say that the business community is looking to staff up. So I think that, we're here to make sure that our city has employment, and that's one of our main concerns, to make sure that we have jobs and that our businesses are sustained and sustainable and stay in Selma. And that's one of the things that keeps them here, is a good workforce. So I think given all the constraints, which we're definitely mindful of, it sounds like this is a good starting point to look into that. And hopefully you'll keep us informed on your progress on that. And thank you, Tracy, for all your work too on the website and on this topic as well.
Thank you.
And with that, we will move on to item 4, which is a consideration of deferred improvements agreement with High LLC to secure improvements to underground utilities for the American Tire Depot project.
Thank you, Mayor, council members. That in front of you is an agreement, as you just stated. What is happening is the project itself is close to opening. So they're pretty close to getting their building finalized. This is one of the last conditions they have to get done. They are in the process of getting it taken care of, which is basically undergrounding utilities from the telephone poles that crosses Whitson. So they're in the process of Rule 20, but it is taking some time, but they'd like to request to open. So what we're doing is executing this agreement so that they can move forward and give them the time they need to finish that project. The developer is on the line if you had any questions regarding the project as well.
Thank you for that. With that, we'll bring this back to council. Does council have any questions for the developer? What's the gentleman's name? Sorry, what's your name, sir? You're on mute. Unmute yourself, sir. Still on mute.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Bedros Darchian.
Thank you for joining us tonight, Mr. Astarshian.
Thank you.
Does council have any questions for Mr. Astarshian at this point? I've got a question. It's been since 2008 that a development agreement was formed with the city, and it's 2021 and still nothing has happened. So it looks like it's a beautiful new building ready for a business to go in. My question is, if these utilities are undergrounded, will the American Tire Depot open and operate out of that location within a certain amount of time? Mr. Astarshan?
No, basically, right now, we have power. The only thing is holding the occupancy is to underground. So if we get the okay, maybe within 2 weeks, we can open the store.
If you get the okay tonight,
Yes.
you can open the American Tire Depot in 2 weeks. Be open for business.
Problem, I mean, like, we had people since November hired 60 employees, but they're gone. So we want to make sure that maybe it will take more because we need to. I heard you guys saying that employment is hard to get, so we need to put a new team together because they open 6 days a week. Actually, I'm the designer. I did the project. I'm not the developer. I'm here on their behalf. So yes, we're ready. The only thing is we need to install the equipment, clean the place, and open.
The permit's been issued, business license issued, all the permits are ready. The undergrounding is the last topic.
That's correct. It's our last condition.
And, okay. And so it sounds like we have our first candidate for the job fair right here who'll be joining us. That'll be good. And so in terms of the securities that are there to ensure that the undergrounding actually does take place. So it looks like there's a bond in place.
That's correct.
Can you describe those?
So we're
conditions?
requesting a bond for a term of 1 year, so that they keep the improvements. If they don't get done, the city can pull the bonds at that point and make sure that it does occur.
So if it doesn't get done within 12 months, the city can call the bond, and that's, how much is it?
175,000.
175,000. The city will collect that and use that to underground the utilities themselves.
That's correct.
Okay.
May I add something?
Please.
Basically, I mean, you're putting us in a tight position because PG&E, we already paid the deposit, I believe in November, maybe in October, because they need to design the system. And there is nothing happening on their side. And we keep getting story that this employee left and the new guy doesn't know what's going on. By the time the new guys, find out what he's doing, he get transferred, they put somebody else too. So the blame is really, yes, the project took a long time, but we've been, getting the runaround by PG&E too lately.
We've had many complaints, Mr. Astarshan, from the residents of Selma Mobile Estates about, and from our PD that's had to go over there many times because it's been a magnet for vagrants. I mean, it's a beautiful area. It's just nothing is happening there. It's vacant with all the problems that happen with vacant properties. So I know everyone is really excited for you to open and to operate profitably and to get employees. And I'm sure the city will work with you in terms if there's a circumstance beyond your control that PG&E would control. What would happen, Assistant City Manager, if PG&E delays the process and doesn't get those utilities undergrounded because of their scheduling?
We can bring an agreement again back to council and ask for an extension if it comes into that area. But at this point, we believe 1 year is sufficient. But again, COVID does slow things down, so we do understand that. So I think at this point, we can execute this agreement and just continue to track this project.
Sounds good. So we'll start with a year, and if there are any issues, then Mr. Astarshan can come back to council and request an extension of that agreement. Does that sound fair, Mr. Astarshan?
Thank you. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Council have anything additional they would like to bring up at this point?
Yes, I have a question. And forgive me if I mispronounce your name, but Mr. Darshan, did you say you had employees already?
They were
aligned?
Yes, because the company, they have about 120 stores. They have a store in Hanford. They're opening another one in Hanford. They have they have in Fresno. Yeah, they have in the area. And we had, yes, people they had interviewed, and they have, like, I can say the word hired. And we thought that we'll get lucky and get something going in November, so after Thanksgiving, we opened the store, but it never happened. I'm not putting the blame on your staff. it was many things in between, but yes, we were ready absolutely to open.
So do you know if those employees or those potential employees, you would be able to reach back to them and
I
you
mean,
know, get
absolutely, because they have probably around I can say 1,000 employees in their stores, and they have people just for hiring, and they will. Guarantee they will. I mean, we will open on time. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
City Clerk, do we have anyone on the line that would like to talk about this topic?
Oh, do you see we have one caller on the line? To the caller that we have on the line, as a reminder, if you wish to address council during the public comment portion, please use *9 to raise your hand, and we will select you from the meeting queue. Mayor Robertson, we have no comments at this time.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll bring it back to council. If council doesn't have anything additional, I have just one topic on page 90. I was looking at the liability limits, the requirements. It looks like it's comprehensive general, just kind of antiquated language. Bodily injury, 500,000 per person, $1 million per occurrence. Property damage, 250,000 per occurrence. These are split limits. These days, you usually ask for combined single limits. I don't know how this language got into the contract, but it's kind of antiquated. And if you compare this to page 16 of our packet tonight and Rincon's requirement for, their project that they're going to be doing for the city for the zoning update. I mean, look at that. They're required to have 2 million and 4 million on the underlying general liability and 2 million under the professional liability. That looks like a pretty modern, up-to-date insurance set of an insurance exhibit. This one looks like it's from the past. What's going on with that?
Well, the agreement actually was used from a prior one, so that probably just didn't get updated in that section. So it was developed by the previous city attorney.
Okay, so this would be updated automatically because the RMA this would not fit the RMA's guidelines for the city's insurance for general liability. These are really low limits for the city. These are limits from a few years back. I haven't seen a city contract in years that required split limits on the liability as opposed to combined single limit.
We can ensure that those get updated. If approved tonight, we can make those edits.
To bring it up to RMA's guidelines?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's correct.
Okay, and with that, is there a motion to approve the deferred improvements agreement with the updated liability limits and authorize city manager to execute deferred improvements agreement with High LLC for the American Tire Depot project to secure underground utilities installation?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you. Call the roll, please.
Thank you.
Sure.
Councilmember Mendoza-Navarro,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho,
Yes.
Councilmember Guerra,
Yes.
Mayor Robertson.
Yes. Next topic, consideration of a resolution to waive fees for the temporary rental of Pioneer Village main building and senior center to Fresno County Department of Public Health for COVID-19 testing and vaccines.
Mayor Robertson, members of City Council, at the December 2nd, 2020 City Council meeting, City Council approved the Fresno County Public Health to occupy the main building of Pioneer Village for COVID-19 testing through May of 2021. Since then, the county has expressed a request extension testing through September 30th of 2021. In addition, on March 24th, 2021, the county began using the Senior Center for Vaccines under the guidelines set forth in resolution number 2020-14R, allowed for the city manager to make this decision based on the proclaiming existence of a local emergency. The rental agreement with the City of Selma is a temporary usage for agreement with the county. Extension would be through September 30th, for the testing at Pioneer Village. And for the vaccines, it's a 12-week period that began on March 24th and would end on June 12th, 2021. Based on the last week, also at the vaccines, they're asked to request an extension from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m., an extension of 1 hour because they're expecting a higher attendance based on the opening up the tiers. And also they're now starting to do their second round of testing, so more people come. And on Saturdays going from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. The testing at Pioneer Village would actually decrease from when you first approved this December 2nd, based on the decrease of testing. Originally was Tuesdays to Thursdays from 11 to 7 p.m. They're now using the Thursdays to Saturdays, so they've decreased it Tuesday and Wednesday. So it'll only be 2 days less, 3 days now for testing. The estimate for total rental and utility waiver for Pioneer Village would be approximately $2,080 based on the Fresno County estimate for use of the building. And based on the estimate total for the use of renting the senior center for 12 weeks would be $5,256. I did want to make note though, during the time at the senior center, it does overlap quite a bit with our department use of the senior. It'll be, the amount is based on the number of hours are there. However, we'd still be open for much of that time anyway. The total rental and estimate for both Pioneer Village and Senior Center would be $7,336. Unfortunately, the person in Fresno County we work with just went through back surgery, but they have signed all the paperwork. Their extension for the certificate of insurance is still valid from the testing. So everything, or that they've been there for quite a while time. They have access to alarm codes and facility keys. They have janitorial services that covers cleaning. And to date, there's been no major challenges with either the testing or the vaccines. They're very cooperative with city staff.
Council have any questions for Director Kirschner?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
So for the vaccines, the county wants to be at the senior center through
June 12th. I've made outreach just to see if their intention is to extend past June 12th, and to date it's not. I've expressed a concern that if June 15, if the news does come through by the governor's office, the county's fully aware we'd want to open up the senior center. So we're discussing alternatives if they decide to do vaccines after June 12th. At this point, they haven't made that decision yet.
So right now, it's not interfering with the senior center, the free meals and
no, not at all.
no giveaways?
We've worked out everything. We've changed our food giveaways from Tuesdays to Mondays because they're closed Sundays and Mondays. It's worked out well.
So it's worked out well. There haven't been any problems.
No, it's good having people come through the center just to market things. And
how about out the testing? How about Pioneer Village?
No problems, but Reedley and Selma, like I said, they've decreased the days. It's testing
with the positivity rate.
Yeah,
so low.
Once the vaccines got on the radar, the testing kind of went, and testing became so readily available.
Council, any additional questions? You're muted, Council Member Mendoza Navarro.
Sorry. For the utilities, are we also talking about waiving any utilities for the use of these of the county? I know we did before.
Yeah, all utilities and fees would be waived.
Okay.
I know on December 2nd, yes, you are correct. The CARES Act did cover a portion of utilities at Pioneer Village to help offset the cost to Pioneer Village Advisory Commission because they do have an enterprise fund.
Mm-hmm.
But at this point, those CARES funds were already been either appropriated or run out. And so as staff, we just felt like this is an important project.
Mm-hmm.
And with them decreasing their time there from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 days a week to 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. to 3 days a week, their hours have been pretty much cut 50%.
They're paying for janitorial at the Pioneer
They
Village.
pay for janitorial.
So
they
they're
actually use the same service company that the city contracted with.
So that cost is offset.
That's
for the
offset
city.
by the county.
Do they do the same for the senior center?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, that was it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm just so glad that Selma is offering the COVID vaccine, because that way it is at least people access to it. They don't have to worry about making appointments so much, because it is a, they have plenty there, and the hours are long enough that even after work they get there. It's like I'm at work at restaurant and I ask almost every customer that comes in the door, have you gotten your shot? I would say most of them have. If not, then I make sure they take a flyer from the senior center that says, this is where you go get it. And then I give them the time. And then, and I said, anybody else that needs it, take a flyer and make sure they get it. Because that's what we're trying to do, reach as many people as possible. I'm just really proud that Selma was able to do that.
Economically, we are getting a little bit of generate revenue. All these employees are from outside of Selma, so we count the meals we're seeing come through the senior center on a daily basis.
Are they going to Naughty Chicks in Lincoln Park?
They're going there. They've used Selma. They've used Irene Boyd, who has a catering service. I've used work with at the high school. She's in there, and
Great.
they've used other restaurants in Selma.
Good for the economy.
There is a little bit give back.
City Clerk, is anybody on the line who would like to discuss this topic?
We did have a hand raised. Caller ending in 105. Your line is open. Please state your name.
My name is Lorraine Reese.
Please go ahead.
Okay, hello, council members, and thank you for taking the time to hear me out. I've been here before you as an advocate for the pay raises for the IHSS care providers last year, and that went very well, and they got their pay raises after 10 years. So I really want to thank each and every one of you guys that supported all the care providers. And today, what I'm here for now is as a resident and a homeowner out of City of Selma for over 30 years. I'm engaged and have postponed my wedding several times due to the COVID closure, and you guys understand that that's been going on all over the place. And I would like to ask you to please allow me to have my wedding date on June 5th. Speaking of the Pioneer Village, after the city or council.
If I'm sorry, if I could interrupt, this isn't speaking to the agenda item.
Got it. Lorraine, would you mind holding that comment until oral communications at the end? That is where you ask for things or talk about things that aren't on the agenda. This is actually an agenda item on COVID testing at Pioneer Village. So just call back or hold on the line until oral communications, which we're almost to. This is the last topic on the meeting, okay? So we'll get back to you.
Yeah, and it was part of it. Yeah, Pioneer Village. Okay, thank you. I'll wait.
Okay, with that, City Clerk, do we have anyone else who would like to talk about this agenda item tonight?
Mayor Robertson, she is our only caller at this time.
Okay, thank you. With that, we'll bring it back to council. Does council have anything they'd like to say? Okay. Is there a motion to approve the resolution to waive fees for temporary rental of Pioneer Village main building and senior center to Fresno County Department of Public Health for the purpose of COVID-19 testing and vaccines?
I'll make a motion.
For a second?
I'll second.
Call the roll, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Cho.
Yes.
Councilmember Mendoza Navarro.
Yes.
Councilmember Guerra. I'm sorry, Councilmember Guerra, we cannot hear you.
Yes.
Thank you. Mayor Robertson.
Yes. That passes. And now we're going to move on. There are no public hearing items. We'll move on to departmental reports. City Manager.
Well, just a reminder that this week is the City of Selma's Community Cleanup Week, started today and it goes through Saturday. And people can take their loads to the Waste Management Transfer Station located at 5608 South Villa Avenue in Fresno. Hours of operation are 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and then 6 a.m. to noon on Saturday. And the maximum load that will be accepted is 1-ton pickups. There is a limit of 1 trip per household, and you must provide proof of Selma residency to participate. So for more information, they can call people can call Waste Management with any questions. Also, I wanted to pass along some thank yous that we have received. Many folks have called about getting their dog license renewed, and they have been very appreciative of the fee waiver, and they asked that we let you, Mayor and Council, know that they've said thank you to you all when they call and they find out that news. They appreciate it very much.
Every little bit helps, doesn't it, during tough financial times? Is that it, City Manager?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Assistant City Manager Moreno.
So a couple items that are going to be coming up that I want to put on your radar. We have a Measure S scheduled meeting coming for April 28th at 6 p.m. We also have our Measure P coming up on the 29th at 4 p.m. So check your calendars if you're able to attend. We'll be sending out Zoom invites if you'd like to attend. Also, to come back to the topic as far as the warrants, and you requested 2 items. Further information for the Top Dog training, there is 4 invoices on there that range between 3,400 and 3,600, so that's why it's so high. The Measure L, which was the county record, that item we got reimbursed for $11,881, and that's already been paid for.
Okay.
That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. City Attorney Lerner, do you have any comments tonight?
Yes, so I spent the afternoon here at and was welcomed by the staff. I had a chance to meet everybody, and I just want to say I'm happy.
Great. Thank you for being a part of tonight's meeting in our city. Community Development Director Santillan.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the council. Just a couple items. I wanted to let you know that we successfully submitted, working with Tracy and Townsend, our grant writing consultant. We submitted 2 applications to the Fresno COG, one in the amount of $25,000 to implement a GIS system, geographic information system, which I talked about earlier, and then another grant for $20,000. Hopefully we hear back on that, which entails pre-approved and pre-designed architectural and site plan documents that residents would be able to use if they own infill lots that they want to build additional housing. The purpose of the grant is to speed up housing within Selma. And so thanks to Tracy and Anna Karen. And then I also wanted to let you know that we've been working with some community organizations with regard to our mattress dumping and tire dumping issues that we have around town. We have a call scheduled on Wednesday with the Mattress Recycling Council to look at solutions for Selma that would be free of cost to residents who have mattresses, so that we don't end up seeing them out on the streets and in alleys, which is an issue historically. And we're also hoping to get granted some funding to have a tire collection event, e-waste event, and also looking at ongoing solutions for those.
I
Thank you,
can't
Director.
hear him.
Appreciate that. Public Works, Shane Farrell.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of council. Just a quick update on the Veterans Plaza. The trough is complete. All the block work is done. Special thanks to Jose Ruiz and his crew for getting out there so promptly and getting that done. I appreciate his efforts. Today, Public Works started installing the irrigation system. We'll probably have that done midweek, and we'll follow right behind with phase 1 of the electrical for the trough. We'll be putting in all the electrical and lighting in the trough. Phase 2 of the electrical will follow right after phase 1 is complete. Today I submitted plans of the dimensions of the statues, weights, so we can to our engineering department so they can design the footings or the pedestals, if you will. Landscaping, I'm meeting with Alicio tomorrow to finalize the landscaping design, and I'm going to be placing the order for all the plants here in the next week or so. Again, the goal is Memorial Day, and I'm going to stick to it. So that's where we're at in that project. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thanks for your efforts. Did you find some good landscaping, Shane, somewhere? Some better rates?
I'm expecting a call back from a guy Wednesday, and I'll know more then. I texted him during the meeting tonight, and we're going to talk Wednesday and finalize that. So
Great.
fingers crossed.
Work on that.
Thank you.
Okay, with that, Fire Chief Peterson.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. I'll give you a quick update on the ladder truck. We haven't spoken of that much since council approved the purchase. But the process and the development is ongoing. The build is moving forward. I hope to have some pictures maybe in the next few months. Once the chassis is assembled, they will start sending pictures out regularly as it develops from there on. And we're in touch with them every few weeks on different aspects of the build where their engineers contact me every couple of weeks on where we want this or where we want that. So it is moving forward. We probably did experience a slight delay, maybe a month and a half due to COVID and a bit of a slowdown at the manufacturing plant. But we are on schedule for October of completion. So I'll keep you updated on that. And you may have seen our new ambulance driving around town. We put that into service a few weeks ago. It is our second ambulance. It's designed to be our backup ambulance. And we wanted to find a way to be able to utilize it when it wasn't needed here in the community. So if you notice, it has a bit of a lift to it because we ordered it as a 4-wheel drive. Wow. And that 4-wheel drive will allow us to utilize it during fire season. It's kind of a unique option. There's not a whole lot of 4-wheel drive ambulances out there. In fact, it's my understanding that Atascadero is the only other fire department that can provide that asset to the state. So we're looking forward to being able to utilize that as another option for helping out during fire season when it's not needed here in the community. So
Hopefully we won't need that this year.
That's the odd look that you see with it raised up a little bit. It's a 4-wheel drive. So
thanks for that clarification.
Yeah.
I won't just look twice.
Yeah, it's a bit unique. So they're driving it around right now to break it in, and we'll have it ready for fire season, which we do anticipate will be starting, unfortunately, probably sooner rather than later.
Soon,
so,
with the limited amount of rain this year. Thank you, for Chief.
That's it. Thank you.
Thanks for your report. Commander Garza, Selma PD.
I can't hear him. Excuse me, Mayor.
We're getting him a microphone.
Okay, thank you.
Can you start over?
Sure. Good evening, Mayor. Thank you. And members of City Council. Now that COVID-19 has been at ease, we're actually sending officers to more training, which is needed. And matter of fact, we are also sending 2 supervisors, 2 sergeants to attend a DUI checkpoint training down south. Sending these 2 sergeants to training will allow us to facilitate DUI checkpoints. There is a law that in order to facilitate a DUI checkpoint, the supervisors have to be certified. Unfortunately, at this time, we have no one that's certified. However, this training will help us facilitate those checkpoints. And that's all I have to report.
Commander, we've had many people call in. I know lots of people have let me know about speed alleys near Eric White and in front of the high school. Do we have PD monitoring the traffic there and the speeders before and after school?
We do. We actually have a program. It's called Adopt a School. So what we are doing is we have patrol officers assigned to that area, and they are to patrol the elementary schools, and their focus is traffic and the safety of pedestrians.
Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay. Parks and Community Services Director Mike Kirshner.
Yeah, a few, Mayor Robertson, good news. I think you got our email. The state did approve our request for the transition of the property. The really good news was no new forms or contracts are needed because it was the same APN. So that will save some time also. Number 2, I'd like to thank Selma Rotary and the Selma Walmart Community Fund, each funding $5,000 for their home run, which has been a project we've looked at for several years. And so that's probably about 60% done. You'll start seeing the fence come up once the cement is dried from the poles. We'll also be coming before council with upcoming discussion for Veterans Banner Program. We're getting some samples from Sanger and Kerman and Reedley, so you'll see that on the agenda. And then we've talked about the marquee concept. City Council originally just talked about some updates, and so this will be part of your budget. But I did want to show you the city of Reedley. City of Reedley, this is actually the marquee you'll see right there as you turn left to go to Reedley College. This marquee is from the same company that does the marquee for us that you see on Whitson and Floral. Next, this is the city of Dinuba. I think if you've been to Dinuba, Mountain View. My understanding from an employee, this is kind of in conjunction with the car dealership, the chamber, and the city. And so they mark it as you come in. The next one would be just kind of a sample of what we've seen so far for the city of Selma. And you'll see the banner could be up on top of the flag. I would display the information, the brick, and then the city logo. And then we've just for the sample included American Legion Post 12 because they've discussed also contributing to the project. And the last one, this is another sample we received. You can see there they have the city of Selma welcome on top. The black portion would be the message, and the blue portion could be any color. In addition to also doing some the rock, we're kind of looking at that rock work. It looks nice. So we actually talked to Jose Reese, who did the masonry for the Lincoln. He could add this, and we could save some money by having the design company would put this in, and then hire a second contractor to come do the rock. And the company you see Fast Sign said that would be a lot less inexpensive way, and they would work with this too. And so those are just some options we're looking at. We'll be coming before you during the budget, but that's kind of the vision we have. And also, I know I've talked to our community development director, Fernando. There's one of the companies did mention there is sometimes the city has a 40-foot setback, and so because of you don't want to block the intersection. So we do have a site that would put that right between those two palm trees in the back and the intersection as we discussed. You can see it very well.
Great. And then you'll be bringing this as like the 4 different bids, or will the bids be coming to council?
We're trying to get another
separately?
bid. He just hasn't responded yet, so I'm just trying to want to keep going because since we're trying to do it for this budget year, getting it decided during budget, so July 1st, we could just start the work.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
With that, we'll move on to council reports. Council member Mendoza Navarro.
I really don't have much other than I just want to welcome Mary Lerner again. Thank you. And then I am part of the Selma Catholic Women's Club, and we just had a meeting on Wednesday, and we talked about the scholarship. We provide scholarship to kids, the seniors at the high school, and we did receive a few scholarship applications, and there's a committee that's been formed to decide, to go through those scholarship applications to issue that. And so, with COVID, we've had to do things differently the last couple of years. Usually once we've awarded the scholarships, then we do a dinner for the families. And, of course, last year we couldn't do it. And this year we're hoping that we can do a dinner. But, everything's just up in the air. But typically we give anywhere from 3 to 5 scholarships. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Councilmember Guerra.
I attended an SKF meeting, and it was our budget and capital improvement plan, along with our city manager and our assistant city manager. And what we went over were a few things that they wanted us to approve during this budget meeting, but we were a little reluctant in regards to our projects because they wanted to include some of our projects that we felt might have already been completed. And so we agreed to have the manager meet with our cities individually to go over our projects to make sure that the projects that were completed have been completed, and the projects that we're going to be in for 2021 to 22 would be budgeted in. So I want to kind of give kudos to Isaac for stepping up and looking over our projects, making sure that those have been completed, and the ones that have not, then we could move those forward. But so that was the only thing. And from Isaac today, he mentioned that they did meet with the SKF manager. So they are going to move forward, and hopefully, like I said, in the future, we'll be able to get a list to make sure that those projects have been completed, and the ones that are going to be moved forward, we'd get a list of those as well. So, and then just an announcement, I just want to give a shout out to Magali Perez, which is our little boxer here in Selma. She went to the USA Boxing National Championship last month and placed third. So she will be training to go on again for the Olympics or Junior Olympics. So I'm really proud of her, and our community's really, really proud of her as well.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, hi. I was able to attend a 5-city Economic Development Authority Zoom meeting last week. They say 5-city, but it actually is 7 cities, which includes Fowler, Kingsburg, Parlier, Reedley, Sanger, Selma, and Orange Cove. And Orange Cove was the only one not present, and they also include County of Fresno. So usually they meet every quarter. They kind of go around the room, whoever's there, and the cities are able to update whether they are achieving or what's happening in their city. So it was pretty light this time. A city of Kingsburg have a T-Mobile site is going into the old Kmart building. And then they just opened a brand new grocery outlet. That's in Kingsburg. City of Sanger is looking toward downtown, try to revitalize it downtown area, because that's an area that also needs to be looked into. City of Parlier, they're looking for trying to get their own fire station department. So that was the only thing that went down. Another announcement would be the Chamber Awards Dinner is happening on April 30th. So they will be saluting the city's Citizen of the Year, Junior Citizen of the Year, Business of the Year, Educator of the Year, and the Ag Business of the Year. So we'll be doing it 2 years since we're not able to salute them last year. So if you want to go, contact the Chamber of Commerce office, and then you'll be able to get your tickets to go in. I'm also Central Valley Lions Club. We are doing our Chili Verde meal coming up on May the 11th, and $12 a meal. We also do scholarships. We have 11 Leos this year graduating. So it kind of tapped our account. So we're going to have to make some money. Otherwise, we do have enough to cover them. But I'm just saying, instead of going into next year with nothing, that is one of our major fundraisers that does keep the Lions Club going. So appreciate it, you guys. Let me know. You can text me how many you want, and I'll settle later with you. And okay, thank you.
Thank you. Just on the topic of the dog licenses, the reason that it was really fair and helpful to citizens, I think, for the city to waive that dog license fee this year was because we couldn't have the low-cost spay and neuter clinic. And as everybody knows, that's a condition of having a dog license in Selma. You have to have your dog, not spay neuter, vaccinated against rabies. So in order to get that license, you have to have a rabies shot. The shelter, because of COVID, we couldn't have that vaccination like we usually do for the first 3 months of the year. Hopefully after June, we can start doing that again for the next year's cycle, having that low cost rabies shelter or rabies vaccination. Another item at the shelter, your community shelter, if you drive by there, you'll see that there is a cat house now, a tough shed, which is dedicated to cats. The city is moving and adding the shelter is adding a component of service for the city to taking care of cats, and it's kitten season. So there are lots and lots of tenants that are moving in tomorrow. Really nice to have that. And we'll be having a ribbon cutting here soon at the shelter. I met with Public Works, Parks and Community Services and American Legion Post Commander. review that planner job, the statue placement and everything that's going on there with Veterans Park. It's going to look really, really good, and really appreciate the Mike Kirshner and Shane Farrell on taking the lead on this and really working hard to get this done in time for Memorial Day, so our older veterans can see this and experience a proper Veterans Park in Selma. I want to thank Chief Gomez and our city manager Gallivan for help with numerous citizen issues the last 2 weeks. Thank you for responding to those. Councilmember Guerra and I met with Congressman Valadeo with the city manager. I attended a Calvan's board meeting. I attended an anti-vaping task force meeting online. Really eye-opening. 20% of ninth graders are reported to be using vaping products. Wayne Dixon from the school district said that the kids are actually bringing in these little thumb drives. Vaping looks like a little thumb drive now, and it's hard for teachers to see it because the kids just plug it into their laptops, their Chromebooks. So that's really bad. And there's a 5 to 7 times greater risk of testing positive for COVID-19 for youths who are vaping. So it definitely has health effects of a very negative type. And I'm definitely behind this anti-vaping task force. Met with these several business leaders with the council member Guerra and I, who graciously agreed to be part of a business roundtable to talk candidly and frankly about what's going on with Selma and what they're looking for in business in Selma. It was a very productive meeting with lots of issues that were discussed, and look forward to the next one. I attended a celebration of life for Raymond Gonzalez, a longtime Selma resident who passed away recently. Thank you to the city clerk for preparing a certificate of recognition on short notice for that. I'll be attending a cemetery district meeting this Thursday based on several citizen requests. They would like me to attend to see what's going on there and perhaps ask some questions about the condition of the cemetery. I will report back on that to council. It was finally an honor to be invited to address our Sikh temple on Sunday. They couldn't do Nagar Kirtan this year because of COVID, but the Festival of Ashaki, which celebrates agriculture and workers, and which is near and dear to all our hearts in the Valley, that celebration did go on, and it was nice to see the Sikh temple with people in it. Very nice to see that coming back to life. And on a warm day, it just showed that we're making strides and we're on the comeback trail in Selma, and looking forward to having our city and our state open up again. And with that, we'll move on to oral communication. City Clerk, do we have Lorraine still hanging on for her comment?
Hi, caller ending in 105. Your line is open. As a reminder, please use *6 to unmute your line. Was it Irene? Is that? I had Irene down.
Lorraine.
Lorraine, thank you. Lorraine, may I have your last name?
Reese, R-U-I-Z.
Thank you. You have 3 minutes.
Yes, and I just want to backtrack. Like I said, I've been here in front of the council meeting before, previously as an advocate, and you guys helped in the past support the pay raises for the care providers in the county, and also at this time I'm coming as a resident and a homeowner, and I've been here in the city of Selma for over 30 years, and I've been engaged. And unfortunately, I have postponed my wedding a couple of times, and due to the COVID, and like I was saying earlier, a lot of people have. And I would like to ask you to please allow me to have my wedding date on June 5th. And I know you guys were talking about the Pioneer Village, and that's where I would really, really love to have my wedding date. And I know that you guys mentioned earlier about the decrease of
attendance due to the COVID testing and stuff. I'm just asking to have my small wedding outside in the courtyard, outside of the Pioneer Village. After, if whoever's using it, if I could use it after. And the reason I'm asking is because since COVID, I've already lost my parents. I've already lost my father-in-law, soon-to-be father-in-law, and in March of last year as well. And then my soon-to-be sister-in-law recently passed away in October, and also an uncle that passed away in December, and my stepdad that passed away in October. And just this weekend, I buried an aunt of 82 years old that are like the elders. And the only one that's left right now that's like an elder is my future mother-in-law. And as of today, she went to go to the hospital, but she's okay, and she hasn't had COVID yet, and she's 71 years old. A lot of people have already passed away, friends and family, and a lot of people haven't been able to either get married or anything due to the COVID. And all I'm asking is, if you guys could at least give me one day or half a day of just the Pioneer Village, due to the, at the for my wedding. I'm not asking much. I don't want to lose anyone else that cannot be able to go or attend a wedding. And I'm gonna turn 50 years old next month, and I'm not getting any younger either. So, and I'm asking you please to help make this possible for me. Unfortunately, I've already lost a lot of money, previously for canceling, weddings that were pre-planned. And I'm just asking, for the city council members to allow me, even for June 5th.
Lorraine, thank you for your comments. Thank you. We're so sorry for your loss. My condolences and the condolences of everyone, I'm sure, here. Parks and Community Services Director, Mike Kirshner, is there a process she can follow to apply?
Yeah, she could leave her, make sure she leaves a number. We can get a hold of her, but as of right now, we're still shut down for rentals. There are some smaller groups. We were looking at following the guidelines June 15th when everything opens, but let me get a hold of her and see the numbers and maybe a different location or some ideas.
Lorraine, if you're listening, please stay on the line and please give the city clerk your contact information for our Parks and Community Services Director to evaluate your request. Thank you. Do we have anyone else on the line?
Thank you.
You're welcome. City clerk, do we have anyone else on the line?
Hi, caller ending in 948. I see your hand raised. As a reminder, please use *6 to unmute your line.
Hi, this is Teresa Salas, and I have a question actually regarding the road maintenance that was just completed around the city. We were informed that there were going to be road resurfacing and different things done, but when I drove around town, all I saw was big chunks of the roads that were taken out and then repaved. It was, the whole road was not done. It was just big pieces. And you can, as you drive around the city, you can see where the repairs were made. But the roads are not level now. They're not completely level to the part that wasn't repaired. And I was just wondering what the process was, why it was done in that way and not complete road repair. I mean, I'm sure cost was a factor, but are the roads going to be smoothed out a little bit better so that you're not driving on a hill kind of thing, where your tires are up on the part that was repaired and then lower on the part that wasn't repaired?
City manager.
Project is funded by a grant, so we were restricted to a funding dollar amount. What we did is, because of the large stretch of road that we're trying to address, we did have to kind of section it out to get those major, where those big potholes or the major damage that were allocated up, and kind of carve that out as much as possible. So you are going to see some of that work. I will have our engineers assess that though, to make sure that we have a smooth drivability.
And I would encourage
I'm-
anyone who has any issues with their roads to call into the city. And we're going to have some software as well where you can approach us online with those complaints as well. Anything else, Teresa?
No, I was just, like I said, it was just kind of a maze through town where each piece was fixed, and it happened very quickly. Whoever the company is that did it, went very, very quickly. The blockage signs were up one day, and by the end of the day, they were gone already. So I do commend the company that you hired, because they did it very fast, and what was done looks good. It's just, like I said, it's just uneven. It doesn't meet the old road perfectly to where it's just all smooth.
Okay, thanks for your comments. Appreciate it. City Clerk, do we
Thank
have
you.
anyone else on the line tonight with a comment?
I do see we have another caller on the line. To the last caller that we have on the line, if you wish to make a comment, as a reminder, please use *9 to raise your hand. I think those are all the comments that we have at this time.
Okay, thank you. We'll bring this back to council. Is there a motion to adjourn tonight?
Make a motion to,
We are adjourned.
Miss Reese, I'm going to ask you to hang on just a second.